ask? Maybe read a book. All right, Scipio, you made it to New Carthage. Now the other Carthaginian armies are only a 10 days march from coming and kicking your ass. Just what were you thinking? Well, Scipio had learned something crucial. Every afternoon, the tides made the lagoon around New Carthage briefly shallow enough to cross. So, he ordered a large diversionary attack on the main city gates, distracting the city's defenders. Then, a small infiltration force traversed the lagoon, climbed the unguarded northern walls, and entered the city. They ambushed the guards and opened the city gates to the rest of Scipio's army. And just like that, New Carthage had fallen. In a single day, Scipio had taken Carthage's capital city in Spain, and he made it look easy. With it, he seized much of Carthage's war supplies, several silver mines near the city, and various powerful Iberian tribes even joined his side. And now he was in a great position to take on the other Carthaginian armies in Spain.
So this is the specific moment that I was mentioning in the previous reaction, where he takes 2,000 smiths that were Celtic, because they belonged to this area originally, that were really good ironsmiths. And these are the people that were that invented the gladius, that then subsequently the Romans not only call Hispanienses for this reason, but they adopt. So this is the moment when the Romans switch from their original 3 types of swords, so the Copis, the Latin B, that was original of Celtic realities in northern Italy, and the Siphos of Mediterranean origin, which were the swords that they should have had up to this point. This is the moment when they're like, the Carthaginians are using this sword, the gladius, now we use it too, and they copy it from them. So this is the moment in which the Romans adopt the gladius. Before this, they shouldn't have it. And this is also the moment when they start mass-producing metal shield bosses.
Wow, Skippy, you're amazing. Don't call me that. How'd you know the lagoon would get shallow? It's almost like you speak to the gods. No, I told him. All the local farmers know about the yes, that's it. I speak to the gods. Scipio had no problem allowing his men to think he was divinely inspired. Roman writers also tell us another of Scipio's traits. He was apparently quite merciful in victory and often protected the inhabitants of captured cities. Spencer!
Spencer?
What are you doing? Well, I was just about to murder this family. Hey, bad Spencer! No! Can I at least kill the dad? No! What about the... No! Oh, you're mean! The Carthaginian generals in the region must have been shocked at the loss of their capital city.
Yep.
There was now a Terminator in Spain, and he was coming. In 208 BC, he made a move on Hasdrubal, hoping to defeat him before the other Carthaginian armies could come and link up. When Hasdrubal heard Scipio was coming, he said... Hasdrubal did the sensible thing and climbed a big hill for safety. Hey! Get down here! I want to kill you. Fat chance, Vin Diesel! Well, he doesn't have to be rude. So what's the plan then, Scipio?
How's that rude? Vin Diesel looks really cool.
This time, we march straight up and at him. Right? Right, Scipio? Billy? No. Scipio once again displayed a distinctly not Roman approach to fighting, when instead of marching straight up and at him, Scipio feigned a frontal skirmish, only to pull off a surprise uphill envelopment. Not an easy thing to do, but Scipio had trained his army to pull off maneuvers that typical Roman armies couldn't. After the battle, the defeated Hasdrubal fled Spain, hoping to link up with his brother Hannibal in Italy. And Hannibal desperately needed the help. As Scipio was dominating in Spain, Hannibal's struggles in southern Italy continued. He was convinced that if he just received ample supplies and reinforcements, he could reverse his fortunes and get back to kicking Rome's ass. But for the remainder of the war, he would suffer a frustrating lack of support from the Carthaginian Senate.
Insane.
After Cannae, Hannibal had sent his brother Mago to Carthage, where he famously poured out golden rings taken from fallen Roman knights. He told the Senate that with reinforcements, Hannibal could finish the job. But a growing faction in the Senate, possibly jealous of Hannibal's rising influence, opposed...
Yeah, I told you, in a political fragmentation.
...sending any help. In the end, a large number of the
Man,
reinforcements
they'll
gathered
pay
for
for
Hannibal
that.
now ended up being diverted to stop Scipio in Spain.
They'll pay
Just
for that.
as he had hoped, Scipio's campaign in Spain was actively harming Hannibal in Italy. However, those reinforcements meant that when Scipio made a move on the remaining Carthaginian armies in Spain, they now likely outnumbered him.
Yes.
With the odds heavily stacked against him, it would take some serious skill to win this battle. This time we're gonna march straight at them, right? No,
Billy.
The preceding Battle of Ilipa is often considered Scipio's masterpiece because it was positively oozing with deception and trickery.
The food part, yeah,
both
let's go.
sides spent several days forming up and facing off without actually fighting.
Yep.
On each day, Scipio placed his strong...
Man, this is like, you know when you watch those HEMA fights when the fencers are really studying each other before they start engaging? They maybe do a little probing here and there, but they're not ready to commit because they know that if the other opponent is really, really dangerous, so if they do a good counter riposte, it could end it. It looks like that, but the army version of it.
Roman legions in the center, with
Yeah.
his weaker Iberian allies on the sides. Seeing this, the Carthaginians were like, "This guy's an idiot. We've seen his plan. His strongest troops are going to be in the center. So let's form all of our battle plans based on this information. I'm sure he won't change anything at the last minute." Then, when the day of battle came, Scipio woke up the Carthaginians with an early morning attack,
Early morning,
causing
yeah.
them to rush out of camp without breakfast.
Yeah, instead
when
the Romans did.
Carthaginians lined up with their strongest troops in the center to meet Scipio's, they were stunned to find that Scipio had completely reversed his order. The weaker Carthaginian
genius.
sides now found Scipio's strongest bearing down on them. Then, in
Yeah,
an
the citizen troops.
extremely impressive maneuver, the well-trained Roman wings even stretched out during their approach, hitting the Carthaginians from the sides. The Carthaginian center could have turned to help, but Scipio had ordered his center to approach so slowly that Carthage's center could do nothing but just stand and wait. In this way, the outnumbered Scipio had cleverly controlled events so that the bulk of the strongest Carthaginian troops couldn't even fight during the battle. He had completely removed them from the equation. The incredible Scipio had inflicted a monumental defeat on a much larger enemy force. And the
Insane.
Battle of Ilipa was the final nail in the coffin for Carthaginian Spain. Yet more tribespeople continued to side with the Romans, and the remaining Carthaginians retreated to the coast, and eventually...
Oh, I use this music. It's from, is it Epidemic Sound or is it Story Blocks? It's one of the two. Maybe it's Epidemic Sound. That my money's on Epidemic Sound.
fled the peninsula.
It's good. I used it.
And would you look at that? In just a few years, the incredible young Scipio had turned Spain completely red.
What a hero.
The Carthaginians must have been stunned. His Spanish campaign had almost been as impressive as Hannibal's campaign in Italy. In fact, see if any of this sounds familiar. In Spain, Scipio had used the environment of the battlefield to his
Yep.
advantage. He staged ambushes by concealed troops. He treated local tribespeople well, earning their
did the same
friendship. He
thing.
even once
Yep.
forced his enemy to come out and fight him without breakfast. Each and every one of these tactics were possibly borrowed from a certain one-eyed general. In all the
Absolutely.
battles Scipio had fought
That's what Romans excel at, copying and reusing and even improving their opponent's tactics, weapons, armor, anything. Literally anything. They will eventually deploy war elephants. This is something that people sometimes don't know. They think, well, the Carthaginians used elephants and then the Romans didn't, and they used instead wings of cavalry, archery, auxiliary, and infantry troops. Yes, but no, because the Romans will field war elephants themselves. So, yeah, they do that a lot.